Worry is a deceptive force. It disguises itself as productive thinking, but it leads nowhere. Picture yourself sitting in a rocking chair. You're moving back and forth, expending energy, but you're not advancing. That's exactly what worry does. It gives you the illusion of activity without any actual progress. It drains your mental and emotional energy, leaving you feeling exhausted, anxious, and stuck in the same spot. And here's the catch: most of the things you worry about don't even happen. Think back to the last time you lost sleep over something. Was it as bad as you feared? Did the catastrophe you imagined come to pass? Likely not. Worry magnifies problems, creating mountains out of molehills and adding unnecessary stress to your life. Now, why do we worry? At its core, worry is rooted in fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of loss. It stems from a lack of control. When life feels unpredictable or uncertain, our minds grasp at straws, trying to prepare for every possible outcome. But in doing so, we're not preparing, we're paralyzing ourselves. We replay scenarios over and over, imagining every worst-case outcome, and that mental spiral keeps us from focusing on solutions. Worry doesn't prevent bad things from happening. It just robs today of its peace. Consider how worry affects your physical and mental well-being. It's not just a harmless habit, it's a destructive force. When you're consumed with worry, your body reacts. Your heart races, your muscles tense, and your sleep suffers. Chronic worry can lead to health problems like high blood pressure, headaches, and even weakened immunity. Mentally, it clouds your judgment and makes it difficult to think clearly. You become reactive instead of proactive, which only compounds the problem. Now, let's talk about time. Worry is a time thief. The hours spent fretting about what might happen are hours you'll never get back. Imagine what you could do with that time if you redirected it toward something productive. Instead of worrying about a problem, you could spend that time solving it. Instead of agonizing over the unknown, you could focus on what you can control. Time is precious, and worry is one of the biggest ways we waste it. Another thing about worry is how contagious it is. Have you ever noticed how one person's anxiety can set off a chain reaction? It's like a virus. If you let worry consume you, it doesn't just affect you, it spills over into your relationships, your work, and your environment. You might find yourself snapping at loved ones, making rash decisions, or missing opportunities because you're so consumed by your fears. Worry doesn't just keep you stuck, it can drag others down with you. But perhaps the most harmful aspect of worry is that it blinds you to the present moment. When you're consumed with worry, you're not fully living in the here and now. You're so focused on what could go wrong in the future that you miss what's happening right in front of you. You miss the beauty of the moment, the opportunities at hand, and the simple joys that life has to offer. Worry chains you to a future that hasn't even happened yet, robbing you of the freedom to experience life as it unfolds. So, what can you do about it? The first step is awareness. Recognize when you're worrying. Pay attention to your thoughts and notice when they start spiraling. Ask yourself, is this helping me or is it holding me back? Often just naming your worry can take away some of its power. Once you've identified it, challenge it. Are your fears based on facts or are they fueled by imagination? Most of the time, you'll find that your worries are exaggerated or even unfounded. Next, shift your focus. Instead of dwelling on the problem, think about the solution. What can you do to address the situation? Even small steps can make a big difference. Action is the antidote to worry. When you take steps toward resolving an issue, you regain a sense of control and direction. You're no longer sitting in that rocking chair going nowhere. You're moving forward. It's also important to let go of what you can't control. Worry often stems from trying to control the uncontrollable. But the truth is, there are some things in life that are simply out of your hands. Trying to control them is like trying to hold water in your hands. It's impossible, and it only leaves you frustrated. Instead, focus on what you can control: your attitude, your actions, and your responses. Remind yourself that you faced challenges before, and you've come out stronger. Think of the times you overcame obstacles you thought you couldn't handle. You've proven your resilience time and time again. Trust in that strength. Trust that you have what it takes to handle whatever comes your way. Worry doesn't have to be your default response. You have the power to choose faith, action, and peace instead. Replacing worry with faith and action is not just a strategy, it's a necessity. Worry feeds on inaction. It grows in the gaps where fear and doubt linger, consuming your thoughts and leaving no room for solutions. But the moment you decide to act, you start to strip worry of its power. Faith and action are the tools that allow you to reclaim your peace, your purpose, and your progress. When you worry, you're essentially placing more faith in what could go wrong than in your ability to overcome it. That misplaced focus drains your energy, leaving you stuck in a cycle of doubt. But when you shift your perspective to believe that you can handle whatever comes your way, you begin to break that cycle. Faith isn't just wishful thinking, it's the conviction that, despite the uncertainties, you are equipped to face challenges and find solutions. It's a mindset that says, I may not see the whole picture, but I trust that the steps I take will lead me where I need to go. Action is the natural extension of that faith. Faith without action is like a car with no gas. It's full of potential, but it's not going anywhere. Taking action doesn't mean you have to solve everything at once. It starts with small, intentional steps. Maybe it's making that phone call you've been dreading, sending out that email, or even sitting down to brainstorm solutions. Each step, no matter how small, chips away at the overwhelming weight of worry and builds momentum toward a resolution. When you act, you're telling worry, you don't control me, you're taking back the power it tries to steal. Think of it like this: worry thrives in stillness. When you sit idle, overthinking and analyzing every possible outcome, worry grows. But when you move, when you decide to take even the smallest step forward, you disrupt that process. Action creates clarity. It allows you to see what's possible and reminds you that you're capable of handling more than you give yourself credit for. Faith is what gives you the courage to take those steps. It's believing that even if things don't go exactly as planned, you'll find a way through. It's trusting that every setback is a setup for growth, that every challenge is an opportunity to learn and become stronger. Faith shifts your focus from fear to possibility. It reminds you that you're not defined by the obstacles you face, but by how you respond to them. Think about the last time you faced a challenge. Did worrying about it solve anything? Probably not. But what made the difference was the moment you decided to act. That decision to move forward, even when you didn't have all the answers, was a demonstration of faith. You trusted yourself, your abilities, and perhaps even a higher power to guide you through. And guess what? You made it. That same resilience, that same ability to act in the face of uncertainty is still within you. Worry also thrives on a lack of trust in yourself, in others, and in the process of life. When you let go of worry and lean into faith, you're choosing to trust that you have what it takes to navigate whatever comes your way. You're trusting that the resources you need will appear when you need them, and you're trusting that every step you take is leading you closer to a solution. There's a powerful sense of freedom that comes with replacing worry with faith and action. You're no longer shackled by the what-ifs and the fear of the unknown. Instead, you're focused on what you can do right now. You're in the driver's seat, steering your life in the direction you want to go. That freedom is priceless, and it's something worry can never give you. Another important aspect of this shift is learning to embrace uncertainty. Life is full of unknowns, and trying to control everything is not only impossible, it's exhausting. Faith allows you to find peace in the uncertainty. It's the quiet confidence that says, I don't know exactly how this will turn out, but I trust that I'll be okay. And when you combine that faith with action, you're not just waiting for life to happen to you, you're actively shaping your own destiny. Action doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it rarely is. But perfection isn't the goal, progress is. Even when you make mistakes, you're still moving forward. Every step you take teaches you something valuable. And those lessons are what help you grow. Worry, on the other hand, teaches you nothing. It keeps you stuck, repeating the same fears and doubts without offering any solutions. Faith and action are a powerful duo. Together, they create a sense of purpose and direction. They remind you that you're not powerless, that you have the ability to make choices and create change. When you focus on what you can do instead of what you're afraid of, you reclaim your strength. And that strength is what will carry you through even the toughest of times. So the next time worry tries to creep in, remind yourself of this: you have a choice. You can let fear paralyze you, or you can let faith empower you. You can sit still and let worry consume you, or you can take action and reclaim your peace. The choice is always yours. And when you choose faith and action, you're choosing to rise above worry and take control of your life. You're not alone. No matter what challenges you're facing, no matter how heavy the burden feels, you are not carrying it by yourself. It's easy to look around and feel isolated, like the weight of the world is pressing down on your shoulders and no one else understands what you're going through. But the truth is, you've never been truly alone, not in your struggles, not in your triumphs, not in the quiet moments when you didn't know how you were going to make it through. Think back to the times when life felt impossible, when you thought you wouldn't survive what you were going through. Maybe it was heartbreak, financial hardship, or a season of uncertainty, so overwhelming it left you questioning everything. And yet here you are. You made it. Somehow, some way you found the strength to keep going. That wasn't just luck. It wasn't random. There's someone greater than you working on your behalf, carrying you when you couldn't take another step. Sometimes we get so caught up in our pain and struggles that we forget this truth. We look at the surface of our circumstances and convince ourselves that we're fighting alone. But if you take a moment to look deeper, you'll see the signs that you've been supported all along. Maybe it was the unexpected kindness of a friend, the perfect timing of an opportunity, or even a small nudge in your spirit that told you to keep going. Those weren't coincidences, they were reminders that you're not abandoned, even in your darkest moments. Life has a way of testing us, of pushing us to our limits to see what we're made of. And while those tests are painful, they're also proof of your strength. You wouldn't be facing these challenges if you weren't capable of overcoming them. There's a purpose in the struggle, even if you can't see it right now. Every obstacle you face is shaping you, refining you, and preparing you for what's ahead. And through it all, you're being guided by a force that knows your potential, even when you don't. The truth is, we're not meant to handle everything on our own. We were never designed to carry every burden, solve every problem, or figure out every answer by ourselves. That's not a sign of weakness, it's a reminder of how we're created. We're built to rely on something greater than ourselves, to draw strength from a source that doesn't run out, to trust that we're supported even when we don't understand how. When you're facing a challenge, it's easy to focus on what's going wrong, to replay every setback and every failure in your mind until it feels like that's all there is. But if you take a step back, you'll see that there's so much more to the story. You'll see that you've survived 100% of your worst days, that you've been carried through storms you thought would break you, and that you're stronger than you give yourself credit for. You're not alone in your struggles because you've been given tools to navigate them. Those tools might come in the form of people, friends, mentors, family members who show up just when you need them most. They might come in the form of inner strength, the kind that rises up when you're at your breaking point and reminds you that you can endure more than you think. Or they might come in the form of opportunities, moments when a door opens unexpectedly, giving you a way out or a way forward. Even in the silence, when it feels like there's no help and no hope, you're not alone. There's a presence in the quiet, a reminder that even when you don't see a way is being made. It's in those moments of stillness when you stop running, stop striving, and just listen, that you realize you've been supported all along. You didn't make it this far by accident. Someone's been walking with you every step of the way. Sometimes we let the weight of our problems blind us to the truth of our resilience. We forget that we've been through worse and come out on the other side. But if you take a moment to reflect, you'll see the evidence of your strength everywhere. You'll see it in the way you've bounced back from heartbreak, in the way you faced fears that once seemed insurmountable, and in the way you've kept moving forward, even when it felt impossible. There's a lesson in every struggle, a reason for every season of pain. And while it's not always clear in the moment, you're being shaped into the person you're meant to be. The trials you face are not meant to destroy you, they're meant to build you. And as you grow, you're never doing it alone. There's a hand on your shoulder, a whisper in your ear, a light guiding you forward, even when you can't see it. You are supported in ways you may not even realize. Whether it's through the strength to get out of bed on a tough day, the courage to make a difficult decision, or the resilience to keep going when everything in you wants to give up, you are never alone. Someone, something is always working on your behalf, reminding you that you are loved, valued, and equipped to handle whatever comes your way. You are never truly alone. The power of perspective is one of the greatest tools you have in overcoming worry. It's easy to get consumed by the immediate challenges of life, to feel like the walls are closing in, and to believe that your current situation defines your entire story. But when you step back and shift your perspective, you begin to see things differently. You realize that what feels like the end is often just a bend in the road, and that every challenge is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to strengthen your resolve. Worry thrives on a narrow focus. When you're caught up in it, all you see are problems, obstacles, and reasons to doubt yourself. It's like staring at a single tree and convincing yourself that the entire forest is falling apart. But when you expand your view, when you step back and take in the bigger picture, you begin to see that there's so much more to the story. The forest is still standing, the path is still ahead, and you have what it takes to navigate through it. Perspective reminds you that challenges are temporary. No storm lasts forever. The rain may fall, the wind may howl, and the skies may look dark, but eventually the clouds break and the sun comes out again. The same is true for the storms in your life. They may feel overwhelming in the moment, but they are not permanent. They are seasons, not definitions. And when you keep that in mind, you begin to approach life with a sense of resilience, knowing that even the toughest times will pass. One of the most powerful shifts in perspective is realizing that challenges don't happen to you, they happen for you. That's not to diminish the pain or difficulty of what you're going through, but to acknowledge that every struggle carries a lesson, a hidden opportunity to grow stronger and wiser. When you approach life with this mindset, worry starts to lose its grip. Instead of fearing the unknown, you begin to see it as an adventure, a chance to discover what you're truly capable of. Think about the challenges you've already overcome. At the time, they may have felt insurmountable, like mountains you didn't have the strength to climb, but you climbed them anyway. And when you reached the top, you realized that the view was worth the struggle. Those experiences didn't just test you, they transformed you. They taught you how strong you are, how resourceful you can be, and how much potential you carry inside you. Perspective also helps you recognize what's within your control and what's not. Worry often comes from trying to manage things that are beyond your influence. It's like standing in the middle of a storm, trying to stop the rain with your hands. But the truth is, you can't control the rain. What you can control is how you respond to it. You can find shelter, you can dance in it, or you can wait it out, knowing that it will eventually pass. When you focus on what you can control, you take back your power. Gratitude is a key part of shifting your perspective. When you take the time to focus on what's good in your life, even in the midst of challenges, it changes the way you see the world. Gratitude doesn't erase your problems, but it gives you the strength to face them. It reminds you that even in the hardest times, there are still blessings to be found. Maybe it's the support of a friend, the warmth of a sunny day, or the fact that you've made it this far. Those moments of gratitude are like anchors. keeping you steady when the waves of worry try to pull you under. Another important aspect of perspective is realizing that you're not alone in your struggles. Everyone you meet is fighting battles you can't see, facing challenges that may be just as difficult as your own. When you remember this, it creates a sense of connection and compassion. You start to see that struggle is a universal part of the human experience, and that you're not the only one trying to find your way. That understanding can be incredibly freeing, reminding you that you're not as isolated as you might feel. Perspective also teaches you to focus on solutions rather than problems. When you're consumed by worry, it's easy to get stuck in a loop of negative thinking, replaying the same fears and doubts over and over. But when you shift your focus to what can be done, you open the door to possibility. Solutions may not come immediately, but they start to emerge when you approach challenges with a mindset of curiosity and creativity. There's a saying that life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond to it. That response is all about perspective. You can choose to see obstacles as roadblocks, or as stepping stones, as setbacks, or as setups for something greater. The choice is yours, and that choice determines the direction of your journey. Perspective reminds you of the bigger picture. Life is full of twists and turns, highs and lows, victories and defeats. But through it all, there's a thread of purpose, a sense that every moment, both the good and the challenging, has a role to play in shaping who you are. When you see life through this lens, worry starts to fade. You realize that you're not defined by your circumstances, but by the way you rise above them. And that realization gives you the strength to keep moving forward, no matter what lies ahead. Letting go of worry is not about ignoring reality or pretending that challenges don't exist. It's about making a conscious decision to free yourself from the chains of fear and doubt that weigh you down. Worry has a way of creeping into your mind, taking root, and growing until it consumes your thoughts. It convinces you that you're powerless, that things will never get better, and that you're alone in facing the battles ahead. But the truth is, worry doesn't change your circumstances, it only drains your energy and steals your peace. When you let go of worry, you make room for clarity. Worry clouds your mind with what-ifs and worst-case scenarios, leaving little space for constructive thinking. It can paralyze you, keeping you stuck in a cycle of fear and indecision. But when you release it, you open yourself to solutions and possibilities that you couldn't see before. Letting go allows you to focus on what truly matters and to take action where it counts. Letting go also means surrendering control, not in the sense of giving up, but in acknowledging that you're not in charge of everything. It's understanding that some things are beyond your influence and that holding on to worry won't make those things any better. In fact, it often makes them worse. Worry can trick you into believing that obsessing over a problem will somehow solve it, but all it does is exhaust your mind and spirit. True freedom comes when you learn to release what you cannot change and trust that everything will unfold as it's meant to. There's strength in choosing to let go. It's not a passive act, it's a bold decision to prioritize your peace over your fears. It takes courage to face uncertainty without letting it consume you, to acknowledge your challenges without allowing them to define you. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring, it means you stop carrying burdens that aren't yours to bear. It's a shift in focus from what could go wrong to what could go right, from fear to faith, from anxiety to trust. Letting go is also about reclaiming your power. Worry takes your energy and invests it in fear, leaving you feeling drained and defeated. But when you let it go, you redirect that energy toward things that uplift and empower you. You begin to realize that you're not a victim of your circumstances, but a participant in your own story. You can choose how to respond, how to grow, and how to move forward. This act of letting go is deeply connected to faith. Faith in yourself, faith in the process, and faith in something greater than you. It's about believing that no matter how uncertain or difficult the path may seem, you're equipped to walk it. It's trusting that even when you don't have all the answers, you're being guided toward where you're meant to be. Faith reminds you that you're not in this alone, that there's a plan and purpose for your life that's bigger than the challenges you face. When you let go of worry, you create space for gratitude. Instead of focusing on what's wrong, you start to see what's right. You begin to notice the blessings that were hidden by your fears, the support of loved ones, the opportunities in disguise, and the resilience you didn't know you had. Gratitude shifts your perspective, showing you that even in the midst of challenges, there's so much to be thankful for. It's a powerful reminder that your worth isn't tied to your struggles, but to your ability to rise above them. Letting go doesn't mean the challenges disappear, but it changes how you face them. It equips you with the emotional and mental strength to tackle obstacles with a clear and focused mind. It allows you to approach life with a sense of calm and purpose, knowing that you've done all you can and that the rest is out of your hands. It's not about being reckless or indifferent. It's about choosing to respond with intention rather than react with fear. Letting go of worry is also an act of self-care. It's a way of protecting your mental and emotional well-being, of prioritizing your peace over the chaos around you. When you let go, you're not ignoring the challenges you face, you're choosing not to let them consume you. You're giving yourself permission to breathe, to rest, and to focus on what truly matters. This isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of wisdom and strength. The process of letting go can be difficult, especially if worry has become a habit. But it's a habit that can be unlearned. It starts with small steps, acknowledging your fears, challenging the thoughts that fuel them, and replacing them with truths that empower you. It's about choosing moment by moment to trust in something greater than your worries, to believe in your ability to overcome, and to focus on the good that still exists in your life. Letting go is a practice, not a one-time event. It's something you choose daily, sometimes hourly, as you face the uncertainties of life. It's a journey of learning to trust yourself, to trust the process, and to trust that no matter what comes your way, you are capable of handling it. It's about finding freedom in the midst of chaos and peace in the face of fear. And when you let go of worry, you discover that life is still full of possibilities, that you're stronger than you think, and that you're never truly alone. When you shift your focus from fear to faith, you unlock a transformative power within yourself. Fear is a thief. It sneaks into your mind and takes your peace, your confidence, and your hope. It builds walls where there should be bridges and blinds you to the possibilities that lie ahead. But faith dismantles those walls, opens your eyes, and reminds you of the strength you carry within. Faith doesn't deny the challenges, it acknowledges them and meets them with a spirit of resilience and trust. Fear thrives on uncertainty. It amplifies the unknown, magnifies the risks, and makes you doubt your ability to move forward. It whispers lies that keep you stuck, convincing you that you're not enough or that the obstacles are too great. But faith speaks a different language. Faith says you don't have to have all the answers right now. Just take the next step. It encourages you to act even when you can't see the entire path, trusting that each step will reveal the way forward. Faith shifts your mindset. Instead of focusing on what could go wrong, it encourages you to look at what could go right. It replaces the endless what-ifs of fear with the assurance of possibility. It doesn't mean you'll never face difficulties. It means you'll face them with the confidence that they won't break you. Faith transforms your perspective, showing you that challenges are not barriers but stepping stones, opportunities to grow and become stronger. Fear wants you to believe that you're alone in your struggles, that you have to figure everything out on your own. But faith reminds you that you're never alone. Whether it's through the support of loved ones, the guidance of mentors, or a deep connection to something greater than yourself, faith is a reminder that you have help along the way. It encourages you to lean into that support, to seek wisdom and strength outside of your fears, and to trust that you are being guided toward where you need to be. Faith is also about timing. Fear wants everything to happen now. It demands immediate solutions and perfect clarity before you take a step. It's impatient and restless, pushing you to act out of panic rather than purpose. But faith teaches you patience. It reminds you that life unfolds in its own time, and that rushing the process only leads to unnecessary stress. Faith gives you the courage to wait when you need to, and the wisdom to act when the time is right. One of the most powerful aspects of faith is its ability to quiet the noise of fear. Fear is loud, it shouts all the reasons why you should give up, all the ways things could go wrong, and all the doubts you carry about yourself. But faith speaks in a calm, steady voice. It tells you to breathe, to trust, and to keep going. It's a reminder that even in the midst of chaos, there's a deeper peace available to you if you choose to listen. Faith doesn't mean ignoring reality. It's not about pretending that everything is perfect or denying the difficulties you face. Instead, it's about seeing those difficulties for what they are: temporary challenges, not permanent defeats. Faith helps you separate the facts from the fears, giving you a clearer view of the situation and allowing you to respond with strength and purpose rather than panic. When you focus on faith instead of fear, you begin to see yourself differently. Fear tries to shrink you, to make you feel small and incapable. It focuses on your limitations and mistakes, convincing you that you're not worthy or capable of achieving your goals. But faith reminds you of your potential. It highlights your strengths, your resilience, and the fact that you've overcome challenges before. Faith helps you believe in yourself, even when fear tries to convince you otherwise. Faith is not just about belief, it's about action. It's about stepping forward even when you're uncertain, trusting that each step will lead you closer to where you're meant to be. Fear wants you to freeze, to stay in one place, and to avoid risks. But faith pushes you to move, to try, and to grow. It's a reminder that progress, no matter how small, is still progress, and that each step forward is a victory over fear. When you choose faith, you give yourself the freedom to dream again. Fear tries to limit your vision, keeping you focused on the obstacles instead of the opportunities. It tells you to play it safe, to avoid disappointment, and to stay within the confines of what feels secure. But faith encourages you to dream bigger, to see beyond your current circumstances, and to believe in the possibilities that lie ahead. Faith also strengthens your relationships. Fear often isolates you, making you feel like you're the only one struggling or that others won't understand. But faith fosters connection. It helps you reach out for support, to share your burdens, and to lean on the people who care about you. It reminds you that vulnerability is not weakness, it's a bridge to deeper understanding and love. Focusing on faith doesn't eliminate fear entirely, but it puts fear in its place. It allows you to acknowledge your fears without being controlled by them. Faith becomes the guiding force, leading you through the uncertainties of life with courage and hope. It's not about having all the answers, it's about trusting the journey and knowing that, no matter what happens, you are capable of handling it. Faith is a choice you make every day. It's not always easy, and it doesn't come without effort. But with each decision to trust rather than doubt, to hope rather than fear, and to act rather than hesitate, you build a foundation of strength and resilience. You begin to see that fear may knock on the door, but it doesn't have to take up residence in your heart. Faith is what allows you to keep moving forward, no matter what lies ahead.